Major Tom to ground control. I'm stepping through the door, and I'm floating in.
Welcome back to another episode of the Smith Boys Podcast. Well, brother, this is a podcast that brought to me an idea that I thought was going to be a pretty good one. It's something topical, something that's been going on in the world today.
Yep, I came up with another good idea on this topic.
We got some maybe anecdotal stories to tell, possibly.
Yeah, some stories to tell.
Brother, what's going on in the world of UFOs, man?
But frankly, I'm a little concerned.
Pentagon has been up to some weird stuff.
Yeah, Pentagon's doing some funky stuff right now.
What? No way.
I mean, they released a new website that just came out the other day, and it's got all these declassified videos on it. And some of these videos are pretty wild, and it's got kind of a description of what's going on, where it happens, what they've observed, and they call them unidentified aerial phenomena now.
UAPs.
Yeah, UAPs, which I'm not a big fan of. Anyways, so Joe Rogan had the guys that talked about the guy that whistleblowed. He was a whistleblower, Gorsuch, or something like that.
Gorsh.
Yeah. Pretty damning shit, in my opinion.
Oh, wow. What did I tell you about the bleep button?
You know, like, I don't know at what point. Are they getting closer to just kind of coming out and just saying, there's some stuff that we don't know about? I mean, could they just come out and say, there's some stuff we don't know about?
I mean, if there is, I wish they would just say it.
Don't you think? But do you think that they're hiding it because the American people and then the world people cannot handle it?
I think so. I think that's a major proponent or a major contributing factor.
Is that a drawback? Is that a huge drawback?
I think that's the major contributing factor. Is they're worried about how the world will react to it. You know, because that kind of like, I don't know if that really kind of flies in the face of everything that religion is based on. You know, like all the different religions in the world that
I
don't believe in aliens or whatever. Would that cause an uproar, or people would just go crazy because now all of a sudden everything they believed in is a lie? Oh. You know, I don't.
You can make the argument for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I watch a ton of like UFO alien conspiracy shows. I love them. I love to watch them.
Oh, God help us!
It's just fascinating to me.
About the wild turkey.
Never seen anything crazy myself. You know, I was golfing with Dad a couple years ago. We were on number 10 at Oxford Hills. And I look up in the sky and I see this. It's just a white sphere.
The weather balloon.
It wasn't a weather. Weather balloons are like silver, and they just go.
No,
like,
then it was a Chinese balloon. It was a Chinese balloon floating through.
It was just a white sphere, a white ball. It was like a volleyball, just like moving across the sky in a straight path, no sound, nothing, just straight overhead of us. I don't know how high. I don't know how people.
Somebody let go some dollar store balloons, brother.
It wasn't a balloon. It wasn't like wavering, kind of weaving or anything with the wind. It was just in a straight plane, just moving straight across the sky at a slow pace. I don't know what it was. I don't want to say it was a UFO or nothing, because I don't know what it was. But yeah, it's just a white ball moving across the sky. It's just weird.
Well, I got a couple of stories.
Here we go. Get your popcorn ready.
Well, what's the big thing?
One personal and one Dad told me about yesterday. You know, so I'll start with Dad's. He said back when he was on the fire department at GM, him and Bill Denton. I corrected him, and it was William Denton.
So this is early '80s.
Yeah, mid '80s, somewhere in the '80s, and they were headed towards. They're on lunch, and they were headed to Taco Bell to get some lunch, and it's like 10:30 at night. They're working third shift or whatever, and so Dad was driving, and Bill Denton says, "Hey Gary, you see those lights up in the sky?"
Not gonna tell you.
And there were 7 lights. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just like that. In a V. You know, in a V, like
red
that.
V.
Yeah, in a red V. They were lit up red, very bright, and they were just ever so moving slowly, headed towards the east. And then one of the staff sergeants was like, "Hey, does anybody else see these lights?" And then another guy at the guard shack, he radioed in and said, "Yeah, he sees them." And then Dad said Bill grabbed the radio and told him, yeah, me and Gary are at lunch. We see him. And then somebody else radioed in, and they had seen him. So, Dad just said they proceeded to go get the Taco Bell, and then now they're on their way back. They're like at Updike and South Boulevard. And all of a sudden, they just kind of took off real slow again, and then like, boom, they just like were gone. So they get back to the plant, and the staff sergeant comes up and is like, what was that stuff? What was that? He's like, did you guys hear anything? And Dad's like, didn't hear a word, or didn't hear a sound, have no idea what it was. You couldn't make out anything in the sky what it was. All you could see was the red light. You couldn't see any like physical object or anything. And Dad's wondered ever since what the hell that was.
What the hell is even that?
And then my story.
Dad's a pretty practical guy. I think Dad's not really like an alien believer.
No, he's not a conspiracy guy.
He's not an alien believer.
No. My story was 7th grade. I was down at the bus stop. And this was in the fall before you turned the clocks back, so it was super dark out at the time, And so I'm down there at the bus stop, and it's a clear sky morning. And for some reason, you're just kind of looking up at the night sky and the stars and stuff. You can still see them. It's that dark out. And I look up and I see this circular object floating above the road. I don't know, maybe a mile or so. And it's round. And it's just sitting, it's just hovering there, not making a sound. And it's down just a little ways from me. And so it was so close that we used to have the hickory tree in the front yard, and I went and stood behind that, and I'm like looking at this thing like, what the fuck, man? And then it had these like, it was kind of shaped like this, and then underneath it kind of wrapped around, and then there was like a little center part that kind of stuck out, and it was like, kind of where you got beamed up, I thought, because I remember thinking that. And so I stood behind the hickory tree in the middle of the yard, and then all these red panel lights, one by one, started lighting up all the way around, and then all of them lit up, flashed, and then it raised up, and then started towards the sunrise, towards the east, because the sun was just starting to, like, you could start to see the sun was on its way up, and dude, it was just gone. Like, it never made a sound, took off, and then when I got on the bus, there was a kid at the next bus stop. He's like, hey, man, he's talking to another kid. Yeah, they were talking about the UFO. And I was like, yeah, I saw it too. But I don't know how they could see it from where they were. Maybe they could, but it spooked me, dude. I was like, okay, I wasn't the only one, So
what's the government doing though, brother? Like, are these? As the older I get and the more that this stuff comes out, I'm more inclined to believe it's not aliens. Or at least that these things are not manned spacecrafts. Like, they're just drones or like some type of probe, maybe, if it's sent here from another planet. I don't think there's any beams in them. Because, like, the way these things are able to take off and stop at such high elevations and speeds, because it's like there's no physical way that, like, a person or an entity could be in them and accelerate and stop that quickly without just being, like, turned to mush inside of them. Because of the G-forces and stuff. It would just kill whoever was inside of it,
Maybe not. Maybe these things...
maybe they got technology to counteract that. I don't know.
Well, I think it's obvious they got something, right?
I mean,
these things are going underwater, brother. From all accounts, I'm hearing this stuff can go from air to sea.
If you got that kind of technology to get all the way here, why would you send somebody in the craft to get all the way here? Why wouldn't you just, like, send like a drone all the way to another planet?
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do.
Just to check things out. I don't think that they, to risk them crashing and being captured or something. It's just like, I don't think there's anybody in them.
Here's my big thing with all
of it. Could just be
it.
Chinese technology,
Yeah,
brother.
it could be. My big thing of it is here we are in 2023, and every video, every picture, every bit of evidence that we ever get to see is some grainy radar shit from the military, or it's some, like, grainy ass video,
night vision.
Yeah, and it's like, why can't it be like typical, like everything else is on, I shot on an iPhone or the new Samsungs and stuff, and it's like, why is everything so shitty, camera.
That's why. That's another reason why I think
It's like that part makes me a skeptic.
Yeah, that's another reason. A thing that makes me a skeptic of thinking that it's all government stuff, because it's like the government is the only one that has been releasing some of this stuff, and like the footage that they release is so leaves so much to interpretation. Like it's not really anything. What they show you could literally be anything.
Anything.
It
could be a remote control plane.
There's 8 billion people in the world, and 80% of them all have camera phones in their pockets, and not one of them has concrete video or photo evidence.
Terrible video.
Not one of them has any type of concrete video or photo evidence of like a legitimate crystal clear image of something that's happened. It's always some night vision, FLIR vision, radar footage from a fighter jet or something, or a Navy ship or something.
Right.
It's never anything concrete.
No.
So that's what part of it that leaves me a skeptic of it, is that like I kind of think that it's all just made up. It could all just be.
Elon Musk came out and said there's no evidence that he knows of alien life.
Yeah, he said
Do
that.
you think he would come out and say, or is he held to the government standard to some degree, and he's not allowed to say anything, or otherwise the government told him we'll kill you and every kid you got? Just saying.
I think he would want to. He seems like the type that would want to tell the public
spill
that
the
something
beans
is
on
out
something
there.
like that.
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos the same way. I mean, they got.
If there was some type of technology out there, I feel like Elon Musk is like the primary guy that would have some type of evidence on it.
For sure.
For all the SpaceX stuff he does, and sending people, wanting to send people to Mars and stuff. It's just like how there's no concrete evidence of it. I don't know. Part of me thinks it's all a smokescreen. Part of me thinks it's all like this is all U.S. technology, and we're acting like it's not our technology just to fool the rest of the world.
Shanga Kawawa.
So that way, if it ever comes time to where we need to use it, we could just break it out and then just be like, yeah, we had it all along.
I can see that. But
or it could be all Chinese stuff. But I just don't think that the Chinese would be advanced over us in that, especially because people have been seeing these things since like going back to like the 40s, And there's no way the Chinese had this technology back in like the 40s.
Do you believe Roswell was real? And a spaceship crash landed out there, and they got a body.
No, I don't think they got a body. You lived
out there.
I don't think they got a body or anything out there. I don't. As I get older, it's just like, I don't know what I believe anymore.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
It's just I want to believe, and I think if there is aliens out there, I don't necessarily think that they're like evil. Because when you watch all these or listen to all these testimonies of these people that have had interactions with aliens, they never do anything bad to them. It's always like they're just here to maybe help us or something. So I like to think that maybe they're here just to kind of observe and make sure that we don't kill ourselves.
Maybe. Are they gods?
I don't know. Did they create us? Did they seed the universe with?
And they're just coming back. They've been watching us.
Yeah,
the entire time.
maybe they put out a bunch of life seeds out into the universe billions of years ago from wherever they were, and then.
Well, then
maybe
you go back
we
to
grew out of nothing, and now they're coming back to see what life sprouted somewhere.
But you could go back to the Egyptians and the hieroglyphics of them putting, things on the pyramids of, seeing space. They would call them aerial objects, is what they look like.
Yeah, there's all kinds of paintings going to medieval times where people have made portraits and paintings of things that look like UFOs in the sky and stuff, and it's just like, well, what the hell, man?
Yeah, so
it's wild.
I don't know.
Hieroglyphics of Australia that people carved into rocks of these beings that look like aliens, like big-headed aliens and stuff. It's just crazy. I don't know, brother. I wish if there was evidence out there, I wish the government would just go public with it, because I think people should know. I think they should just deal with the repercussions of whatever people decide to do with the information.
Will we ever know in our lifetime? Will the government ever admit? Let me say that. Let me ask that question.
There might come a time where they have to admit it, because I think it'll get out some other way, and they'll have to be like, okay, we'll go along with it now. The cat is right out of the bag.
Oh boy. Maybe.
I don't think they will willingly just come out and be like, yeah, there's aliens. We knew all along.
I could see them coming out and saying it. I think they're kind of slow walking it. This latest website thing. I watched, 4 or 5 videos on it. It's pretty wild stuff. I mean, I showed Dad one the other day, and I was like, dude, how do you explain that? And I think it's just going to be a matter of time before somebody captures something on good video somewhere in the world, and then it's going to be all over.
I think the closer we get to possibly potentially World War III,
The more that this is
I
going
think
to come
the
out.
more this will escalate. And whether there's any validity to it or not, I don't know.
Does it make everything else irrelevant?
I think
Like,
it-
if you
well, I
find
think-
out that there's really aliens
I
and that
think
we've
that's-
been visited, does it make everything that you've known in your entire life
it's
and
the biggest
and every-
story. It's the biggest story
all
in the,
time,
in the
right?
history of mankind.
For sure.
Because it's telling you that we're not alone.
We're
and
not
people
alone.
and other people can come here whenever they want and do whatever they want to
Yeah.
us.
So you would have to say, if you found out in the next 3 months or whatever, they come out this year, later out this year, and say, yes, we have been visited. We do have crash land. We do have a crash landing in our possession. We are not alone. It would change everything you've ever known about everything we've ever done in the history of the world.
Yeah, I think so for sure. I think it'd be the biggest story ever.
Yeah.
I don't know what would
It would
top
make
that.
everything seem insignificant to me.
Yeah.
It would make everything almost seem irrelevant.
And how would the rest of the world react to that? Would that unite the rest of the world in the common goal of thinking like, all right, well, now maybe we all need to unite just in case of a common mentality of what if we're visited and they're hostile? You know,
I think you would
band
have to.
together.
You would have to. You would have to kind of start to think about pooling your resources and saying, okay, what do we know about this stuff? You know, why do we know about these things, and how do they operate? What do they want? What's their infrastructure look like? Where are they coming from? You know, how far away is that? You know, I mean, all those things would be. You'd have a million questions. You'd have a million questions, dude. But I think that in my view of it, I would think everything to me would just feel like, okay, everything else is irrelevant. Everything don't mean anything hardly anymore. You know, because like everything you've ever known and been told and taught is totally out the window.
Well, it's like the fact that like we've been visited, like they can come here and visit us.
Yeah, but you can't go there.
We can't even go to the moon on a regular basis.
No.
Like we can't even consistently put drones or rovers on the moon without crashing and having them be destroyed.
We got one on Mars.
Yeah, I know, but there was I think Russia tried to land one on the
Yeah,
South
and it
Pole.
blew up.
Yeah, Russia tried to put one on the South
That was
Pole.
just a couple weeks
Yeah,
ago.
and it blew up, but then India did it like
Yeah,
a week later.
yeah, a
and
week
they're
later.
they're the first country to do it. But it's like, so like we can't even like consistently put like rovers on the moon without crashing them and blowing them up. And
Yeah.
we're getting visited by aliens from,
Yeah.
another galaxy.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Well, the problem is like I would view the alien race, if you were going to say this, all work together, while the human race all works against each other most of the time. You know, like all these countries and stuff. It's like, why would you not just pool everything together when it comes to that kind of stuff, and for the greater good of all?
Is that where the World Economic Forum comes in?
You know.
Time to check in with our lizard overlords in Davos, Switzerland. What are they up to? Well, this. Thank you for watching. Ooh. Yeah, those people run the world. They're so impressive. What a bunch of freaks.
I don't
I don't know, brother. I don't know. I'm gonna watch it closely, though. I know Joe Rogan just had Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp on his podcast, and they're big into the investigation of the.
And
the
so is
conspiracy
Rogan.
stuff.
Rogan's
So
a-
I'm gonna
Rogan's a
listen to
freak.
that because Knapp and Corbell are like real good investigators into that stories, those UFO stories. So I can't wait to listen to that. It's always interesting. So I don't know. I'm gonna follow it closely. For the next, who knows, however long that this stuff is going to come out. I like to go to that website that the Pentagon put out and look at some stuff, but check it out. But, oh, brother, we'll follow this one up at some point when more news comes out. Till then, Smith Boys, out.
See ya.
Hey, you